Hello, everyone. Here we are this morning in the studio again today, alive and well. And really, we have to be grateful for that. I want to thank God that He has woke us up this morning and we are here to talk about the embracing our purpose on this earth and why He has us here. Not just breathing the air, not just sitting around doing anything, because I want you to make sure you understand that you also have been called to a greater purpose. You have been called to things that are really, truly important for you to do in this world. As you can see, I have two beautiful people that are gracing this studio this morning with their presence. And as usual, I don't introduce people on my show, and I let my guests introduce themselves. So we're going to go ladies first. How's that, Mr. Gonzalez? Okay, so go ahead and introduce yourself, my dear.
Yes, my name is Darla Gonzalez, and I live in Chandler, Arizona, and I'm just thanking you for having me on your show today.
I'm so appreciative that you say yes, because it's not, a lot of people say, well, I want to have a conversation with you. And I say, hey, come on, let's have it in the studio, right in front of 50 million people, 55 million right now.
Wow.
And 147 different countries. And they were like, whoa, so don't be afraid right now.
Oh. Well, suddenly my palms got sweaty.
Oh, that's not going to be the case at all. You are strong in who you are. You do what you say you're going to do. So it's important that you are here at this table. I feel that God surely have called you for this time, and you are embracing the call.
Yes.
Because this is where you are in this moment. What about you? Do you know this lady?
I do know her. We share the same last name. I am.
I think we have the same kid, too.
We actually do have
I
that.
love it.
I'm Chaplain Charles Gonzalez.
Amazing.
And, thank you for having me on as well. I do appreciate it. We live in Chandler, as my wife said. We've been there for 19 years.
That's amazing.
Same house. Raised our
Yes.
family there.
That's amazing.
We love the area.
That's wonderful.
And we love giving back to the community.
That's amazing. I just love the fact that when you are where I said to people all the time, you need to produce fruit where you are planted.
Yeah.
And hearing you say 19 years in a city, raising your kids there, and now from what I understood, God has called you now for a different purpose, but the same line of work that you were doing. So I'm going to talk to both of you guys a line of the fact that what is he doing now and where you feel that he's leading, and then in what purpose. This is the conversation between the three of us. So we're going to be discussing those kinds of things. I'm going to start with you, Miss Darla. Can you tell me a little bit about your background, where you come from, and how you have arrived where you are right now?
Oh, wow. How much time do we have?
We don't have much time, so you're going to have to bring it down
Let me do a 20,000-foot view here.
Yes.
So I was born and raised in Oregon.
Uh-huh.
I worked in corporate America and small business,
Amazing.
probably the first half of my adult life.
Yes.
I took a break from all of that to take care of my grandmother. I was a caregiver to my grandmother.
I love
and
it.
I was,
Kind of my heart thing.
yeah, so
Yes.
that break changed my life because
Wow.
I got out of kind of the rat race.
Yes.
And discovered that my quality of life went up, even though my income went down, caring
Ooh,
for
that's
my
a good
grandmother.
word.
Yeah, so I listened for the bell, and while I was listening for the bell, I was studying the Word, and thankfully being broken of a lot of bad habits.
Yes.
And just my Christian life took a turn. And when she passed away, I didn't want to go back into the rat race. I wanted to feed the poor and the hungry. And everybody thought I was crazy, but my heart had just changed. And so that was about 25 years ago. And so ever since then, I've kind of been pursuing that. And our family moved here 19 years ago. I was transferred here. But I went back to school to get a degree so that that wouldn't be a barrier for me if God wanted to move me into full-time ministry.
So what is your degree at this time?
Business administration.
Business administration. So then you have that background of managing budgets, of managing different things that are very important, not only
Yes.
for a small business, as you both own small businesses right now, but also as at a higher level, wherever God is calling you, you will be equipped
Yep.
for that purpose.
Well, and I thought that when I got the degree, I'd be working with refugees, or I'd be working with disaster relief, something really specific.
Yeah.
But God called me into working for a large church. And I was thinking, I was like, really? But the cool thing was I was exposed to all of these nonprofit organizations, community organizations that were partnering with the church, and made so many different connections. So my first nonprofit administrative role was in a church, and I worked there for 7 years.
That's amazing. So what I'm hearing you saying is that along the way you have acquired more and more knowledge to where you are right now, whether it was from corporate America, which probably you were there too. We'll come to you and find out about that. But then you move from there to, because he have called, and then it just keep going higher. And I'm hearing ourselves talking in a sense that we go from glory to glory. Things does not stay stagnant. And if you find yourself being stagnant, maybe it's a time for you to start asking some why, what, and how questions, because that will really propel you to the next level. And that brings me to you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'm going to call you Charles too, because people always said, I keep saying Mr. But the fact of the matter is that you kind of took a path where you are a father, you're a husband, and you understood that your job, as God has called it, was to be the head of your family. Yeah. And you stood as that. And then you worked to take care of your family. But now God called you to something else. Talk to me about that.
Sure. God called me to something bigger.
Yes.
Explaining to people.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Chicago, in the projects. Had a very tough life growing up. Went into foster care, was thankfully adopted, and I struggled, in life. And I found myself chasing the almighty dollar.
Wow.
And I kept putting the dollar on the throne. So if someone offered me more money or something, I would chase it.
Yeah.
And that was my identity. And just last week, during Bible study at St. Vincent de Paul, I was talking to people about how sometimes God has something to put in your hand, but we're busy holding on to something we have no business holding on to.
No more room.
No more room. So we prayed really hard about letting something go so that he can bless you again.
Yes.
And in my life, every time that I have taken that step back and accepted that blessing has taken on its own life and blessed me beyond measure.
I just love it when he does that, because he says double, right? Double the portion, double for your trouble, double for your portion. I am so excited to hear that. Not only that God has called you to be husband and wife, but he have also matched your hearts to do his work together, step and step, working together into your relationship as a husband and wife. But I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Darla, and I'm going to ask you at this point, where do you see God leading you in the work that you have been doing and the platform that he had given you, and then where you are right now? What are you pursuing right now, based on the call that he has called you to do?
So, everything I think God is sending me towards, sometimes he takes me to a left turn. He's like, well, this is what I had to do to get you here, to get you over here. And so I've had a lot of left and right turns. I left the church mission, not to leave the mission of Jesus Christ, because of course that's always my biggest, most precious thing that is always on my mind.
Yeah.
We need to be serving the least of these. I met the Chaplaincy for the Homeless serving at the church. They were a ministry of the church, and I was recruited to their board of directors 12 years ago.
Wow.
And the Chaplaincy for the Homeless they're an organization that's downtown Phoenix.
Yes.
They were the first leasees of the Human Service Campus when they built it in 2005.
Yeah.
The founder had gone onto the streets for 30 days to see what the greatest need was for homeless people. He discovered it was lack of ID, believe it or not. And so that's kind of how that started. So I heard about them, and I was on their board of directors working at the church, but I felt like I was warned by a pastor that said, don't get comfortable working in the church. It's easy to get comfortable and God won't use you if you're comfortable. You gotta, so I was always aware, like, Lord, is this the next step? Is this, I'm always wanting to make sure that I'm being used by him. I spent the first half of my adult life outside of his will. I never want to be outside of his will again.
That's it.
I'm not
and
doing
I
it.
hear that. Somebody, you better hear that, because if you feel like right now there's a change and there's a shift, and I remember exactly what you said here. At one point, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm falling apart." And then the song came on that says that you're not falling apart. He's just putting you back together.
Yeah.
And so when you feel like you're falling apart, it's because the pieces now are finally, you have given up on holding on to the pieces, giving it to him for him to take them and place them where they're supposed to be.
It's a full surrender.
So that's it. So you have surrender. Now, what are you doing right now?
Well, we have a business, and our business helps nonprofits with grant writing and accounting and database management.
Yep, if you need a great grant writer, there they are. A great accountant, there they are. Yes.
So I am the administrator for the Chaplaincy for the Homeless now, and so we manage all the business for the Chaplaincy. I also am a candidate for Chandler City Council, so I felt called upon my heart to serve the people of the city that I love so much and that was so good to us, raising our children.
That is so cool.
And so when I say serve, I really mean that, like serve and care about, like at a higher level, not on a political level, on a higher level. Like pray over the city, pray over the residents, and then use all the administrative gifts and things that God has given me and bestowed upon me to help the city and help the residents in the city.
Correct. But it says that along the way that we are equipped once we say yes to whatever it is that he has called us to do. And so at this time, you feel that he's calling you at a higher level, which is to be a gate of a city as one of the council members that seek to jurisdicate that city in every which way when things come before you. And specifically looking at the residents, right, that are in that city and see them as people that you will be serving. I love that. That is such a great heart to have. And I know that it had to come from pliably God applying moments where you had to sit around and figure things out and then bring yourself to a place of surrender to be able to do that. With the chaplaincy that you have just embraced right now, full-time.
Full-time.
Full-time. And so what is the plan? Where you're looking to lead this path now?
So we're actually looking at the Chaplaincy for the Homeless. We're expanding right now. We have a facility down here at St. Vinny that does not have someone there.
Wow.
So I'm going to be spending 30 plus hours a week reaching out to the people that are there that have needs, helping them get off the streets, helping them with identity, helping them come back into the flock.
Yeah. It is important for us to help. Majority of the things that we find ourselves struggling with is knowing that we truly are children of the living God.
Yes.
And that makes it so hard when we don't know that our position. I remember my son who passed away in September last year. That was one thing I ingrained in him from the time he was 2 years old, that you are the Son of God.
Yes.
Yep.
And he will be going through whatever. And I'm like, whose son are you? I can wake him up in the middle of the night and say, whose son are you? I'm the Son of God. Boom, he will right back to sleep again.
I love that.
And so we really impart that into each other. So what is it when you sit down, for example, if you're sitting down with someone right now who's trying to get out of homelessness, what is the pathway are you using as a chaplain to encourage them? Because other people might say, well, I don't want to hear about religion. I don't want to hear about your God, but I would like to get help. How do you, as a chaplain, I'm sure that you're trained to also help anybody.
Anybody.
Yes.
We do. We help anyone, regardless of where they stand on their journey.
Yes.
One of the first things that we remind them is that they are respected. They are a person, first of all.
Yes.
Often people will come to us and say, you don't want to bother with me. I'm just a homeless person. I'm a throwaway. And there's no such thing as a throwaway person.
Amen.
We all fight those battles and struggles.
We do.
And the Bible teaches us that iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
We pick each other up. We share the yoke.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm pulling people in. I'm letting them know that they're important. I ask them their name, you know, and I had someone just Monday.
Yeah.
I did a baptism on Monday, my
Come on.
very first one.
I love
very
it.
first. And he was shocked that I wanted to know his name. And I said, I value you as a person.
The
And
identity.
that's how I pull them in for the first time.
My goodness. It is amazing to think that, you know, somebody really get to the place where they don't even know what their name are, or they don't haven't even have someone call their name in so long that when you do call their name, it brings them to a place where they feel like they're a human being again, because you have just called them by their name. You keep talking about a higher level. We all want to operate in that place, and that's why I call this segment here embracing your greater purpose, embracing it, because you're moving from one greater place to another greater place. So this place right now that you would like to serve the people of Chandler, as you put it, how do you see yourself doing that?
Well, I see first off a lot of prayer and praying for the Lord to give me the wisdom to have clarity of mind, to be a good listener, to be available, to be open. Also to you know, the council, you have to make decisions. So you have to have strategic thinking. You have to be able to know what questions to ask. And I've watched you on council and other people. You have a heart for people, and you're always thinking about them and not just business. And so I think that, you know, part of being a good leader, a servant leader, no matter what you're doing, and counsel or no counsel, is sincerely caring about people. And the chaplaincy is really good at building trust, because, you know, our staff will put the person on the chair and they'll sit on the floor. They'll serve them coffee. And I honestly think that, you know, I just, in my mind, and I know this may seem weird because we're talking sort of about politics, but I see washing people's feet.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, that's what he called the one who truly was the greatest leader ever to ever be on this earth, that we follow in footstep of whom we follow. That's the way he demonstrated service. Demonstrated service in a way that, yes, it's at this highest level that you can do it. But at the same time, you are at the lowest level providing a service that you're doing at the highest level. If people can wrap their mind around that, I think that it will truly make such a difference in the way that we approach service, which is all of it. It's service, because you are elected to serve. The people who are saying yes to you, to put you there, they are saying that we trust that when you are there, you're going to look at all of us and see that if there's a need, how you're going to work together with all of us to get that need met.
They matter.
Yes, it matters.
Every one of them matters.
Yes.
And their voice matters.
I am so empowered by the two of you for the work that you're doing in our communities, and seeing you guys working together as a couple. And I could see the anointing of God is on you guys to do the work, and it's calling you to do the work. And if you are thinking about joining an organization to do the work, this would be a great organization to join and to work with. And I know Ms. Darla currently is looking for people to help her push through this season. God is calling her to a higher level to do the things that she's been called to. You are welcome to join with her. Lock your arm together with this couple to push the work forward in every which way that you can to make it happen. Now, you mentioned the St. Vincent de Paul that is here in the East Valley.
Yes.
That's where mainly you will be. Is there an address where people can come if they needed help there? Is that a center where they're going to be able to receive help on site?
Currently, it is not. That's what we're actually looking to expand
Wow,
for.
that's good. So we're talking forward right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why the Chaplaincy for the Homeless brought me on full time.
Yes.
They have a very small East Valley presence.
Okay.
And we're looking to expand that.
Yeah.
We've had great support from the community, from nonprofits, from fundraising, even from the county. Maricopa
Yes,
County has
yes.
given us a grant, blessed us with a
Yes.
grant.
Yes.
So we're looking to make more presence in the East Valley. We're currently looking in Mesa,
Yeah.
in Tempe, in Scottsdale to make a presence so that we can serve the people of that community.
That's amazing. So the current one you have, is it in Chandler, or no, you're looking just to find a place
We're
right
looking
now?
to find a place right
Yeah,
now.
it is. And we pray that you do find a great
Thank you.
place for the East Valley, so you can have pretty much that great presence that you want. If someone wanted to join the cause and helping you, how will they be able to do that?
They could go to our website in order to get it, and I'm going to have to defer.
azchaplaincyforthehomeless.org. azchaplaincyforthehomeless.org.
Yeah.
We have lots of videos. We have special events. Our greatest presence right now is downtown Phoenix, and that
Yes.
is a great need. We
Yeah.
just expanded
And
in
that's where
Glendale.
we serve also down there, Madison and
Yeah,
12.
that's right. That's
We
right.
serve down there with FCS, which is the Bridge Ministry.
Yeah.
So we're right there across from you. So it is definitely, we will probably work together. I will let our boards know to reach out to
Absolutely.
Please
you
do.
as a chaplain and have you come down and meet them on a Sunday morning
would
when
love
they're
to.
down there. And they're always looking for people to give the words to the people there.
And we're looking for chaplains. We need chaplain assistants, chaplain volunteers,
Okay.
people to lead Bible studies. We
Yes.
have a couple chapels that are empty on Sundays.
Yes.
That if we had more pastors and
More chaplains.
then
that
we
will
could be
different.
conducting worship
That
services
is
on
amazing.
Sundays.
So will be like a paid position, or is it a volunteer position that you
Could
guys-
be either one.
Either one. Wow.
We
So
have
you hear it right now. There are opportunities. If God is calling you to have a little things that you want to do, and you're asking yourself, how can I do that? Still working and still doing this, but at the same time, you could also get paid to serve. This is an amazing thing. Well, Ms. Darla, we talked about you now trying to really running, and when is that is happening? When is
The primary-
is this year?
Yes,
You're
it's
running
this
this
year.
year. Okay. You're running this year. What does that look like? When is it?
The primary election is August 2nd.
Wow. So we
So it's
only
just
what,
a few more weeks.
Few more weeks away
Yeah.
from that. That's amazing.
And
Okay.
I'm completely at peace with the outcome because no matter what, I'm going to be serving the people of Chandler,
Yeah.
whether it's in an official capacity or not. If it's really, I don't want to be outside God's will.
Yeah.
So if God's in it, I'm in it. But if He's
Amen.
not in it, I don't want to be a part of it.
And we know when he called you, he is in it, right?
in it.
As long as he's providing, because when you start and you're asking, how am I going to do this? And boom, it's happening. Things are happening around you. Things are moving and things are changing to accommodate
Yeah.
the call. So then you know he's in it. So victory is yours. Victory is always ours in those sense when he's the one who called us for the next level. I'm excited for you.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to see how you're going to embrace what's happening in the city where you live and how you will serve the people there in that city. The chaplaincy now, is it full time for you? You said it's full time, but how many hours? You mentioned 30 hours. How many hours a day would you be available for people if they needed counseling?
If they needed counseling, I'd be available 24 hours.
Wow, that is so cool.
I've opened my heart, my life
Yes.
to serving other people and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned about being a power couple and doing the things.
Yeah.
It's only with my spouse's support that I
Wow.
can do these things.
Yes.
She has reminded me many times to run for office. It's only with my support that she can do that.
Yes.
So we are a family.
Yes.
You know,
a unit.
we're a unit. We pull together, and so long as we're all pushing and rowing in the same direction, we can conquer anything.
That's
Anything.
right. Anything. There's nothing that can stop it because you guys are together. I love that. I love that leadership mentality that says that, hey, you know, we're in this together. And we are in it to win it.
We are in it to win it.
You're in it to
For
win
God.
it. For God.
For God.
Always for God. Always for God. You know, I wanted to share with you something that Ms. Darla brought into the office with us today, and it's a poem she said that she received from one of the chaplains, and I'm gonna let her read it to you, and pay attention to the words, because it says the word of God will never come back to us without accomplish the things that it's supposed to accomplish in our lives. And I believe those words are specifically for some people today, to hear those words and embrace them and let them really truly sink into your soul and let them produce fruit in your soul.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. So this was written by one of the former board of directors who got me involved with the chaplaincy 12 years
Yes,
ago.
yes.
And she just framed this for me to hang up in the office. So Jenny Gill is who wrote it. So there is a place where you are taken, a place where people are forsaken. There's a life within the city streets for those crying out for love. There's a place you can be taken where these souls are not forsaken. For the weary there is rest for those crying out for love. There's a place with a room for all. Come dwell with me's the call. For here the Lord is found for those crying out for love. It's where the homeless are set free. It's where there's hope that they can see. There is love so freely given for those crying out for love. It's where agape love is found. It's built on holy ground, where there is no condemnation for those crying out for love. The Holy Spirit finds a home, so no one ever feels alone. It's a place where all are welcome to be bathed in the light and love.
Wow. These are such an amazing words.
Yes.
And they are so perfectly to transition us into this moment where I'm going to give you an opportunity to really look in the camera and talk to people, talk from your heart to them if they are experiencing, because sometimes it's not about being a homeless person, it's about the trauma. It's about, I still have shelter over myself, but I'm still feel homeless. Still feel that I don't belong. I still feel, like you mentioned earlier, I don't have an identity. I don't know who I am. I've gone through so many things in my life that at this point, I'm trying to figure out, who am I? And so this is the moment that after such a beautiful words, that you could talk to people and bring them to understand who God has called them to be.
Sure. Thank you for that opportunity.
Yes.
Wherever you are on your journey, you don't have to face it alone.
Oh, come on.
We come together to strengthen each other, to lift you up, to remind you that you are important to God. And that's all that truly matters. When you have that self-doubt and the denial of your importance in this world, remember that you serve a purpose.
Yes.
That purpose may not be something you'll ever know in your lifetime. It's there. It doesn't change the fact that you still have an important purpose in life. Come share it with us. Sometimes the greatest thing that you will teach someone is for us to continue the drive. When you come in and we help you get off the street, when we help you find your identity, you're actually helping us. You're giving us the drive, the passion, the desire. There's nothing better than at the end of the day, and someone says, "How was your day?" And I look at them and say, "It was great. I helped someone get off the streets.
Wow.
I helped someone get clean. I baptized someone
Amazing.
today."
Yeah.
That's a great feeling, and you're blessing me when you give me that opportunity.
That is amazing. I mean, to think about that, it's a two-way street, right? We give and then we receive, because it says in His word, it is greater to give than to receive. But that you can never outgive God, and every time you give, there is something that's coming back. And in your instance, you just described one of the most, I think, rewarding feeling is to know that you have made an impact in someone's lives. That person will never be the same.
No.
And their lives is forever being changed because they have met you. I live my life with that kind of passion, to know that every time I encounter someone, I am being changed, and that person's being changed for the better.
Yes.
Because we walk into places. My pastor, which is Pastor Brad Davis at Desert Spring Church, he teaches us that we are the people that lives it better than we found it.
Yes.
Amen.
We have to always apply ourselves to live it better, whether it's people's lives, whether it's a room where you were sitting doing something, where that in itself so ingrained in me. I will go in a public bathroom, and then when I'm leaving, I'm grabbing paper to clean the sink to make sure that there was nothing on the floor, because we are the people who live it better than we found.
Yeah.
And so, how would you think that will work in your life if, when God allow you to serve at the level of the being a council member for the city of Chandler, how would you leave Chandler better than you found?
That's a great question, because truly I that's what I want to do. I want to add value to Chandler. And I want to make sure that people know that they matter. And I know they want a quality of life, and I know they want to raise their families. There isn't anything they're doing out there that we haven't done with our family.
Yeah.
And we've had the highs and the lows. Like
Yes.
our son was homeless in Chandler
Ooh,
and
come on.
Gilbert. And he's not now, praise God.
Yes.
But we can look in the eyes of a homeless person and say, God is with you, because he
Yeah.
was with our son.
Yes.
My grandfather died in the streets homeless, right? And unfortunately didn't have anybody by his side.
Yes.
So, I mean, my heart is just to make sure that people know they matter, and that they're, like you said that. You said it one of the meetings I was listening to you, and I'm like, yes, that exactly. And it's that every decision that you're making, it's with them in mind.
Yes.
It's not about me and my agenda, my opinion. I get frustrated when people are like, well, what do you think about this? Well, I'm more interested in what you think about this.
Yes,
I
come
want to
on.
know what you want. What's
Yeah.
your ideas? Forget
Come
me.
on.
I'm not going in there with an agenda or with my own ideas. My ideas have to come from you.
That's great.
I want to be your voice, you know, and so if I can't do that, you know, then that's not going to bring value to Chandler. So I think bringing value to Chandler is making sure that we're all in it together.
Yes.
Just like with God, we're all in it together.
Yeah,
right?
having that listening ears to really be yourself, lean in, right?
Yep.
Lean in into every situation, because economic development, you still have to lean in, because they are, these corporations, they are not running by themselves. They are running with people. And once we know how to help people, how to work with people, then we can lead those corporations, or
That's
we can
true.
create avenues for them to be really have a place where they can thrive.
Yep.
Our city has a motto of we live, we work, and we play. So what do you guys do as chaplains and things like that to play in Chandler?
Oh
What do
my
you do
gosh.
to play? Because we talk about you guys living in Chandler. We talk about
do
you
we
guys
play?
working in Chandler. How do you play in Chandler? What do you do?
Oh, well, lately, because of election and everything, we haven't had a lot of that free play time. I mean, I'm going to be honest here.
We eat out a lot.
We eat a lot. We support
I
a
think
lot
we
of
I
restaurants.
think we support it.
a
Like
lot.
I don't think I've had a dish in my sink for 2 weeks, because we're just always eating out. But I think we've been downtown is one of our favorite
It
places,
is by far.
and we
You
like
know,
exploring the new businesses. And
That's great. That's
our
great.
kids are grown now, so there's no
Okay,
more
so-
going to the pools and going to the parks and all the different things.
and we miss that. You know,
Yeah.
it's really funny because kids grow up very quick.
They do. They do.
It's in a
They
blink of an
do.
eye.
Before you
we
know
still
it.
have our tandem bike in
We
the
still have our
garage.
tandem bike. We enjoy the entire community,
Yeah.
the town itself. The 4th of July celebration that we just
Oh,
had.
the live
Yeah.
was
music.
amazing.
So you guys out there having fun.
We had a
We
lot
love
of
live
fun.
music.
What was it? 103 degrees.
109, I think. But who's
109.
counting?
We were melting.
I bet you were counting. It was so hot.
But we were all
lots
in
of
it
fun.
together. We were
Yeah.
all hot. We were all
That is
sweating
so
and enjoying
cool.
the
That
music.
is so cool.
Yeah.
So playing together in the city that you love, in the
Yeah.
city that you lived in for 19 years, is a way to give back to the
Yeah.
community, and then finding out what's important to the people there at the same time. So I love that. I love. Now I'm gonna ask you a question that really maybe your husband, because you guys show me that it is a twosome here. You guys are doing this together.
Yeah.
And then so once you are there, is there anything you would like to see done at that level that the people of Chandler have spoken with you about, and then they send you there to see how you can help manage that or fix it or turn it around? Is there a specific thing or maybe one? I'm sure that they give you lots of different homework.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
there's
had
a
quite
lot
a,
of,
I had quite a few
you
homework
probably get
myself.
more questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, I'm not on council yet, and you're asking me these questions.
Yeah.
One thing, so homelessness comes into my mind because I prayed for months before I entered in this. I needed God. I needed to know God wanted me in with this, and I didn't really know. I know when our son was homeless, there wasn't very many. There was nobody out there. We drove through Chandler and Gilbert, couldn't find a single homeless person, including our son. So it actually made it easy to find him because he kind of stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
But I do know that with inflation and all of the COVID things, we've got more people. I think Chandler handles things wonderfully. I'm really happy to know that they have these partnerships with organizations who are passionate about homeless people. I think that makes more sense than the government trying to be the expert.
Yeah.
When you already have community organizations that are built off the backs of passionate people, and they know what they're doing. I think it makes so much sense to partner with them. So I'm really pleased. I've learned a lot about how the city interacts.
Manage.
I also I don't know if there's a system that helps small businesses get started. I know there's systems that help larger businesses get started, that kind of helps them navigate all the bureaucracy of government.
Yeah.
If there isn't one on a small business level, I'd like to figure out how to help people start businesses and work from home or be independent that way, if that's their desire or goal. But like I said, I don't have an agenda. I just want to, and as far as what people are asking, they love Chandler and they want more of the same.
A lot of people.
That's mostly what I hear. Honestly, it's the exception, not the rule, that someone complains about something. And those are just, I don't normally focus on exceptions. I'll look at patterns that have to do with bigger things, but I'll listen to them.
Yes.
I think it's important that people are listened to. And I think that with background and with Jesus's input and wisdom, we can offer perspective to help people understand things on a bigger picture level, because I think sometimes people can get kind of caught up in the weeds of something and not understand it. They think there's a one size fits all for homelessness, and there isn't.
No, it's not. It was so amazing. Yesterday, there were a couple of council member and the mayor and myself. We were judging a group of kids from the YMCA. Of Phoenix, and they came from the different YMCAs. We had the one from Tempe, we have the one from Scottsdale, we had the one from Chandler, and they did presentation to us to be evaluated as far as how will they do a project to help people who are
very
experiencing
nice.
homelessness.
Yeah.
It was so amazing to have these kids do demonstration. Some of them had they had it into a presentation on a PowerPoint. Others did demonstration, really do miniature little things. And it was so many great idea. There was an idea about taking a school and having people live in the school and also go to the school at the top, living at the bottom, hire teachers to live there. There was another group who says that they will take hotels that nobody use and turn them around.
You bet.
There's other group and then every one of them, not only they tell us about their project, but they also told us how they were going to finance it.
Wow.
Nice.
How they
That's
were supposed
impressive.
to. It was impressive.
I'm
very.
sorry I missed that.
Yeah, it was in the morning we had it, and they came, and then we had to really, not only how they, and then where every single one of them, which is the part that we're going to discuss right now. I wanted to kind of come into this segment with this segue. Every single one of them had a component of mental health. And I know these kids feel that mental health was supposed to be part of this program that they are putting together, because they realized there was one particular group, I think they won the first prize because they were more educated about the different way people become homeless. And so how much mental health had something to do with it. So I'm going to come to you from your mama's heart, because I want to know that the first time I met you, that was the first thing when I was running. and we sat at the backyard of our friend Martha, and we were talking because it was something about, and that's the first thing you spoke to me about, that because of mental health, then your son found himself in a position where he did not want to stay home with you guys.
That's
and
right.
he had to be on the street. And you were looking to see what program and where the programs were for such a young person who's smart, very above average. I mean, come on. So many of these guys, it's just because their mind is going 24/7, and then for some reason they believe that they can self-medicate themselves to slow their mind down rather than trying to align themselves with people because of stigmas that we have put on them, that they don't know that there are help to help them cope with running thoughts, to help them cope with that level of buy. One moment they up, one moment they're down. So then we met.
Yes.
And then we talked about that. And mental health is a passion of yours. So let's talk a little bit about that. And then we'll talk to the chaplain to see how many times when you encounter that, what do you have to do? What is your pathway with that?
Yeah, so our son ended up in Oregon, which is where we're from.
Yeah.
And he, through a series of truly miracles, he ended up in he had a small incident happen where he was in a small town, and they were giving him a choice of this criminal court or this mental health court in this little tiny town. And I can't go into all the miracles it took to even get him into this little town because he should have been in our hometown, but there wasn't any room for a trailer park. And so we just said, well, let's just go south 20 minutes. And this little town just happened to have this experimental court.
Yes, wow.
And he successfully graduated from that.
The program.
From the program. And so when I met you, he had just gotten, we had just gotten him off the streets, and he had just started this mental health court, and I wanted to know, does Chandler have a mental health court?
And we do now.
Yeah, I know you do. And I met the magistrate, and I'm like, yay.
Yes, we do now.
Yeah,
because we went with it. Again, this is an example of what you're saying. Meeting people who have a passion for something and know that this is what's needed, and talking to them about it, and let them be the voice to bring it to a greater area, and then let other people run with it. Because I could tell you, I could not have done it on my own. It had to be all the staff. It had to be all mayor and council. It had to be everybody else who brought this thing to the front because it was really needed.
Yes, it was. And when he took to the streets, nobody understood what was going on. We didn't really see the signs. It was just kind of a snap, a series of a whole bunch of things that happened. And to be honest, Chandler, Gilbert, they didn't really know, the police officers, God bless them, they didn't know how to handle it. He seemed completely normal, but a normal person doesn't run around in 120 degrees weather and sleep in a park when they've never had any, previous history. So I wanted to make sure that our police had the resources that they need.
And that's the number one thing. We have a unit.
I know. It's like all this happened. I just prayed for it. No, I'm kidding.
And here we are now. We do have a unit right now that is being put together.
And it's important.
To be on the street, that are going to be trained to deal with mental health.
Yeah, because they don't know how to, they didn't know, and they're not trained to do that. So I have seen such a difference from 5 years ago. This was 5 years ago when he was on the street to today and what they're doing. And so I think there are a lot of resources that Chandler has that the residents don't know about. And that is one thing that I think, if I have any control over, how can we communicate out what's available to the residents for things like this? Because unless you're going to the meetings or unless you're really tied in, I wouldn't have known what was available.
Yeah, because right now, the more we grow, because we at about 287,000 residents in our city, and then some of us came when we were only at 70 or 80 or even 100. You guys around that time, and so here we are now. And because of also the fact that we have so many medium now, the media, where we can funnel information to people, and we need to keep people engaged.
Yes.
Because disengagement also make it like you don't receive information.
Right.
If you're disengaged, you are not asking questions. Because the first time we met, I know that was you. You were like all over me. Come on, tell me what you got for this.
What are we doing?
What we doing?
How can I help?
What's happening?
What can I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the part two. It's not just what we're doing. mentoring and then complaining, but it's what can I do?
Yeah.
And I see that in you as someone who will come along and just be part of a team and put your hand
Yes.
to work together with everybody. So you see mental health issues as what, the number one, or?
It is truly number one.
Wow.
People, when they find no self-worth,
Yes.
they turn from everything. We have seen young people, and because of being parents of someone who is homeless, one of the first things we'll tell them is call home. Let them know you're alive. Let them know you're okay.
Because that's the first thing you want to know. It's my child or my cousin.
Yeah.
Because we've seen so many parents down there looking, and we help them look because it's important to know.
They have shame. I think that shame block, they think, oh, I've burned my bridge, or I'm embarrassed, or I've done this. And we're like, no, trust me, your parents want to hear from you, you know? And
we
so
went
we
through
try
a
to
long
unify
period.
them.
We went through a long period where our son lost communication with us as well.
Oh my gosh.
That must have been
For the
so
longest
hard.
time, we knew he was okay because everything was going smooth.
Yeah.
When he lost his debit card, there were a couple of things, and then we couldn't see if he was okay.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure if he was alive or not.
Wow.
And as parents, it was difficult when you're checking the police blotters, when you're checking the obituaries, when you're looking,
Medical examiner, for
and my
So
wife
hard.
looked up and said, Lord, if I never get to see him again, I'll count him as a blessing that you gave me for a short period of time.
Wow.
And
yeah, that was a big step
it
for
was
me.
months after you offered him up to the Lord, suddenly we made contact again. So
Yes.
when we see these people that say, no one cares, no one loves me, no one misses me,
Yes.
we offer that first connection. We'll make that call for you because someone is missing you. Someone loves you.
Someone loves you. It's important for you to understand that. I would love for you to, because we're going to play this in a lot of different media outlets. And some people who right now might be listening to this on an outlet into a shelter. Or you might just have gone into a place just to get something to eat. And then you see this being played. Between the three of us right now, there's so much love for you to know, to understand that you matter to us. We don't care about what you have done. What we care about is that you are still breathing and there is hope. Because as long as you're alive, there is hope. We have come across so many people who have testimonies. And I'm feeling very emotional about it right now. It's because we know it's the truth. So many people have so many testimonies of the fact that when they were at their worst, at their lowest, and they didn't know which way to go, they just look up and say, God, take over this thing because I can't do it anymore. Even when they were high, they were able to get that little perspective, just that moment. And so this is our prayer right now, that within that moment, I want God to give you an inkling of a moment of sobriety so that you can cry out in that little, just take it. Take that moment and just cry out. And I guarantee you, somebody's going to show up. Somebody's going to be available.
Yep.
You're going to meet someone. Someone's going to call you, or someone's going to take you or put you in a car or give you a plate of food. Whatever your need is right now, I want you to test God on that need and see if he was not going to meet it, because I guarantee you he will. Because he says that in his word, the Lord is your shepherd and you shall not be in want.
That's right.
And so right now he wants to meet your needs because he takes care of all of your needs and above your needs to get to your wants. So God is with you. He's doing the things that he wants to do. Chaplain, I'm going to ask you before we leave that you pray for someone right now who's watching. Just let them know how much you're loved. I know I just finished telling them, but sometimes they want to hear it from a man. They want to hear it because if it's a young boy who'd never seen his dad, who somebody else is enticing him to keep taking drugs. So talk to them.
Yeah, let me remind you, we just had Father's Day recently, and God is our highest Father.
Yes, he's a good Father.
He is a good Father. He's blessed us with so many things. And we also are reminded that when we can't find that good person out there to lift up others, be that person.
Wow.
Reach out. We don't know the struggles that other people are going through. We don't know what battles they're fighting every single day. So set it down. Look up, and I remind people, and I remind myself, look to the Lord and tell him, use me where you need me. Light the path, and I'll walk it. I might stumble. I might have little times where I bump into the guardrail, but those guardrails are to push us back into the middle and remind us that the path is clear and we will meet each other on it.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I would like to reiterate that or summarize everything he says here in this stanza of this poem. It says, there's a place where there's room for all. Come dwell with me, the call. For here the Lord is found for those crying out for love. And at the end of the day, that's all we are asking for, to be loved and to be recognized as one that is part of this whole circle of life. We want to be part of it. We want, whether we feel that we're not worthy to be part of it, we feel that we have not contributed enough. And all these things push us away. And what the three of us are saying right now is that come. And he wants you the same way you are. He doesn't want you to go clean up. Oh, well, yeah, when I stop drinking, or when I stop taking drugs, or when I stop prostituting myself, or when I stop doing these kinds of things, then I will go. No. It's in the midst of it. Right, Ms. Darla? It's in the midst of it.
It is, and I witness it down at the chaplaincy office where we bring people in and they watch Christian movies, we serve them coffee, and then they start witnessing the breakthroughs from just starting to get that someone loves me and God loves me and these people love me and we become their spiritual family.
Yes.
And then the other people who are not so trusting, they're watching and then they see that how the Lord just immediately changes their lives and then they come and they go, we want that. What do we have to do? Well, we pray and we baptize and we love on them unconditionally, completely. And that's what we want to do, that our hearts are open to everyone. God loves everyone. Jesus died on the cross for everyone.
For all of us, no matter who you are, you matter to us at this moment. And whatever things you're going through right now, you matter to us. And we will need partnership to be able to do that. To be pouring out, you have to always replenish yourselves. And people sometimes ask me and say, well, how do you have time to do all of this? Because I'm hearing all the work that you guys are doing. And now you're saying you're running for council. I'm telling you that's going to be on overdrive and everything else. But it's not about all the things that has to be done. And I think it's all about wanting to do things and then also getting the partnership to do it. Because you can never do everything by yourself. But if you have great partners to do that, who does you guys partner with? Is there any other organization that you partner with? Because I know we will want to continue partnering with you or start partnering with you on the campus. Because we're right down the street from you guys.
Yeah, we work with St. Vincent de Paul's. We work with the CAS. We work with Phoenix Rescue Mission. We work with all the different St. Vincent de Paul, U-Mom, Family Promise. We have convalescent homes that we go into and pray over people.
Yes.
So we have partnerships with convalescing homes or nursing homes.
Yes.
And several of the different shelters. To be honest, we're really growing.
Yes.
And so we've kind of been small for 30-something years because we've just been about doing the Lord's work and we haven't really focused on growth. And so we're now focused on
because the
growth.
needs is growing, so you got to grow with the needs. Because a lot of time people keep saying that, well, don't fix anything if it's not broken. Well, it's not because it's broken that we are going to enlarge it or fix it. It's because there is the need for us to enlarge our territory and take more territory and then go into different places. Because at one point, when we started this program to help with the homeless almost 20 years ago, we went to Phoenix because we couldn't find them in the East Valley. And then there were a lot in Tempe, and
Yeah.
then they couldn't be in Tempe anymore. Then they had to go downtown, and so downtown become the hub.
The
So
center.
that's where the program then
Yeah.
was needed. So we went there, and now we're seeing, oh my God, it's not only there. We have branches that goes all the way to Yuma. We have branches that are going up to north of Phoenix, South Phoenix, and then we have branches now that is helping in the East Valley and different Mesa started to help, open to help, and do different things with the mental health, and because people are people and they live everywhere, and some of the people that will become homeless, if they were resident in a city, they're not going to leave that city.
That's
They're going to
right.
try to stay in that city. When you say you don't want homeless in your
There's the
town,
point.
That
these
breaks my
are
heart.
people that used to live next door to you. And then now, because of trauma, because of mental health issues, because you probably never checked on them. You probably never sit down to talk to them to get to know them. And then the day that they break out, the day that they have a mental breakdown, and then they find themselves on the street, then you asking what.
Yep.
There was this one gentleman in Chandler. We watched him for years, and I have not seen him for a long time. And I'm assuming that he'd gotten older. He was a young man, a young black man who was teaching at the community college, and then he ended up having a mental breakdown, and he just walked.
Yep.
You will see him in his suit with his bag walking. He walks so many times we stop and put $100 in his hand or do something. He will just take it and keep walking. Doesn't make eye contact. He will go by the school, he keep walking. People will stop. We will give him water. We will do different things because we were meeting him where he was.
Exactly.
Because he didn't want to be indoor. He will just get up in the morning, get ready, very clean. He was never looking dirty. He was always looking clean with his bag in his hand. And it was almost like he got suspended in time of going to work.
It became his identity.
Wow.
Yes, it got suspended in time of going to work. So wherever you find yourself stuck, and so today we're saying that there is a way to unstuck you while we come alongside you. You are not alone. We have the chaplaincy that are with you. We have those of us who are making policies and procedures to help you find ways. We are saying, give us a call. Go to the court in our cities. Where just go to the police, man. I know people are telling you police is not going to help you. But I know here in our city, the police will stop and they will ask you what you need. They will help you to get somewhere where someone can give you the help that you needed. When my son was, younger, that's another thing I taught him. I said, if you ever need help, you see a policeman, just go to them.
Just go ask.
Just go ask them for help and things like that. And when he went to college, he was into some kind of issues. That's what saved my son.
Wow.
Because when he says that I need help, and then the police just help. And then when I call and I told them and I said, this is what I taught him all these years
Wow.
to do. And that saved them.
That's-
And then we were able to come in and intervene and do the things that we needed to do. What an amazing moment to spend with you guys right now.
Thank you so much.
I am so thankful for what you do. I'm so thankful for what you're doing now and the things that you aspire to do. And I pray that God will give you the strength and the courage to keep pushing through and then see yourself to the finish line with great victory. And then you also getting great victory on your side, because I know you're working hard right now as a full-time chaplain. I pray that you will have the strength and the courage to continue doing this work, and that your family will really continue to support Chandler and push Chandler forward in the things that we do here.
Thank you for this
I'm looking forward to have you guys come back to this show.
Thank you.
And maybe one day you can have your own show here, talking to the people and explaining to them how great God is and why you do what you do every single day.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Well, can
Thank
you quickly say goodbye to the people?
Thank you, people, for your time. I appreciate you looking and watching us. Lord's blessing to you.
Amen.
Amen.
God bless.